morning, Zio here, and it would seem that the death of a card game is looming overhead, which is sad. I really hate it when games like that kind of fizzle out and don't go anywhere. But, today we talk about the Elder Scrolls Legends. So let's get into it, shall we? The Elder Scrolls Legend. It's a card game by Bethesda. And of course, if you've been keeping track of Bethesda lately, they've had a lot of issues. And I'm sure it didn't help this. And this dying off, of course, doesn't help them at all. But they did make a card game, which, seems to be A-okay, kind of not. It just depends on who you ask. I personally hadn't actually got a chance to play it. But I am a fan of card games. I prefer physical card games. I was looking for a card, but there's nothing sitting here. Anyway, I prefer physical card games myself. Not really a huge fan of the digital. I guess mainly because it feels like either I've been out of the gaming space for so long on that I just don't remember. But it feels like with the digital, expansions and stuff come out so much quicker. And you have to have so much more money to drop into it than you did with physical counterparts. But that's why I don't really play a whole lot of things like Hearthstone and stuff. It ramped up too quickly, and I just couldn't keep up monetarily. So otherwise, I'd probably enjoy it myself. Unfortunately, as a result, the Elder Scrolls Legends is officially, I want to say, on its dying leg. Now, the title of this, of course, is Legends is Officially Dead, and then promptly right afterwards, it's not shutting down. But, The card game was announced back in E3 2015, a year after Hearthstone's release, and went into open beta in 2016. And unfortunately, like many things, when you're competing against something that's especially a Blizzard title, you don't want to be the last one out the gate for that, because it's going to be hard to gain traction. It just happens. It's Blizzard. What do you expect? But when asked about the game and stuff, in an interview, Pete Haynes said in a little bit that the game was in a little bit of a holding pattern right now in terms of number of players. They were trying to see what was going on, but they were kind of waiting for the console, I guess, version to come out, or waiting to see if releasing the console version was going to do anything, that sort of thing. But the original console ports were set before the end of 2015 and have not been mentioned since. But yeah, I mean, you can see it right here that back in 2018, June 10th, there were things of Nintendo Switch and other consoles was getting the Elder Scrolls Legend strategy card game. And so far, it has yet to actually materialize. Nobody knows where it is. When asked, we're not sure yet. We're on a holding pattern, just looking at the numbers and stuff. The most recent expansion, Jaws of Oblivion, released in late September, and it drew criticism from some players for its broken core mechanic, Invade, which allows players to summon Oblivion Gates and then steamroll their opponent with armies of demons. And you know what? That would be an issue. I mean, that's another reason why I kind of don't really play the digital card games all that much, is because on one hand, it's harder to cheat with those, right? It's harder to have somebody cheat and stacking their deck and stuff like that, which is good. The other problem is the sheer random and the RNG nature of things allows them to do things that are just completely overpowered. You find the right combo, and you're just smacking everything because it's so overpowered because nobody thought about this. And I mean, those powers exist in physical card games too. But something like the Oblivion Gate thing I don't know if that's going to actually be able to happen in a physical game. I guess it just depends on how it summons, and it's like gets a bunch of tokens that are like 1/1 tokens or something like that. It's like put down a 1/1 token. I had a card that did that somewhere. It was like Living Hive or something. Magic the Gathering. That was interesting. Anyway, having 1,000 1/1 tokens somehow. But yeah, they do have a roadmap, which is another problem with these live service games like this. It's the fact that so many times now it has gotten to the point that you get a roadmap like this. What was the other one? Anthem, I think, was another one that failed horribly recently, and they're trying to reboot that now. But you got the roadmap, and then the roadmap falls apart somewhere, like right here at the winter expansion 4, and they just sort of don't go back to it, and it feels like a waste of money because, of course, anything you put into this game, they're not doing anything major with it. They're not doing any major updates to it at all. They're literally just going to keep just a skeleton crew there to maintain and update it. But our previous roadmap indicated that we'd be releasing one more set this year. We decided to put any new content development and releases on hold for the foreseeable future. It's dead. I'm sorry. When you come out and you say that, it's probably dead at that point, because unless this game has a resurgence out of nowhere of people just all of a sudden discovering it or something, they're not going to bring it back. It's going to be on the back burner for good, more than likely. Unless they can do something vastly different with it. Until then, you can still download and play Legends on all existing platforms and compete online as well in single-player modes. We will also continue to support the game with monthly reward cards and regular in-game events. So yeah, they'll probably have a skeleton crew of so many people just there to develop those assets, and that's about it. Or they have a bunch of leftover assets at the moment that they haven't used, and they've gone ahead and said, okay, we've got 20, so we can keep this thing going for 20 weeks or months. Wait, what did it say? All platforms. Monthly, yeah. We can keep it going for 20 months, and then we're going to have to shut up shop. But, yeah, that's probably what's going on right there. Just my opinion, my thoughts, of course. But yeah, and for continuing to play with us, we're giving away the Tamriel collection. So they are giving a collection for free to all players. Get that off. To all players for free upon the next login. Which, I mean, there's at least that. If you log in now, you maybe you get a free set. Especially if you hadn't played in a while. But yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these live service games. As you can see, where they started off pretty strong here. Total 8,781 players at any given time. Peak players anyway. With an average player of about 3,000 something back in 2007. And a sharp decline from June to July. When the first burst came in, half of them left. And then another quarter of them left after that in the next following month. And it just kept going down, and a few bumps here and there, because we went from March 2018 from 1,600 up to April and 3,451, and then back to 190.22. But yeah, I mean, it's had a few bumps, and currently, the last few 30 days, we've had around 1,081 players, which is another bum thing when it comes to live service games and stuff. Even if you do enjoy the game a lot, if the players aren't there, there's nothing to enjoy because you got nobody to play against. A game that I can think of that I personally enjoyed was Shadowrun, I think is what it was. It's for like 360 or something way back when, or Xbox. I can't remember what it was, but it's purely a multiplayer only game, which is one of my issues with it. But I had a lot of fun playing that FPS, especially with, like the forced pushes and stuff like that. So that was really cool for me at the time. The problem is the player base dwindled to literally nothing, and it stopped being playable. It happens. So you may enjoy this, but it does look like the player base is drying up quickly. Well, quickly as in over 3 years. And it's probably just, this kind of news here is enough to almost wipe out a player base. I wouldn't be surprised to see if this number drops, cuts in half, or cuts by a quarter or something by next month or something like that. Because we've got an average of 646 right now at any given time. A lot of drops happening. But yeah. The Elder Scrolls Legends is officially dead. It sucks to see a game die like that, but at the same time, it's the risk of getting involved in something that is more of a live service style game. I do believe that card games will be going into the digital format. They've been there. They've been kick and tail as it is. You can look at Hearthstone. That's probably one of the biggest ones currently to date right now. And then you've got Magic the Gathering's Arena trying to throw its hat into the game, but Magic the Gathering's got its own type of issues. You've got Elder Scrolls Legends essentially going on to the back burner at this point, and you've got other things like Gods Unchained and a few other games out there as well that are card games. And of course, you've got the plethora of mobile, match 3 style card games out there too. So those are a thing to compete with now as well. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below, of course, and I will talk to you later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.